your day started at holidayworld.com.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6, assessing the damage from Saturday's round of tornadoes and severe weather. This church in Bentonville, that's in Fayette County, among the dozens of buildings destroyed or heavily damaged. 4 tornadoes now have been confirmed. The good news in all this, we didn't see any deaths or serious injuries. Thanks so much for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Trevor Shirley, here with meteorologist Todd Clausen. And Todd, we're potentially looking at the chances for more severe weather tonight.
Yeah, it's happening right now. Now, we're not getting the tornado part of it, but thunderstorm warnings already issued for parts of south central Indiana. So let's go over to Storm Team 6 radar and we can talk about these storms where they are. They're all down to the south, but really rocking and rolling right now into the Bloomington area across campus, downtown Bloomington. Tremendous amount of lightning and a lot of heavy rainfall. More heavy rain back towards Bloomfield. And then this is a pretty strong storm just north of Spencer now. And then the heavy rain and lightning extends off to the east now into southern portions of Brown County. They have dropped a thunderstorm warning now, so that is good news. The yellow you see here, that is a thunderstorm watch, but all these strong storms have actually been just north of the watch area. But not only is there the threat of hail with those storms and obviously the lightning, but here's the other issue. Heavy rain from Seymour back towards Bedford. We've had about 5 to 6 inches of rain, and that's why there's a flash flood warning across parts of southern Indiana. So as we progress throughout the evening here, we'll continue to maintain the threat of some strong to severe storms, mainly across southern locations, with lightning, hail, and wind the main threats. Can I rule out the chance of an isolated tornado? No, but that's pretty low on the spectrum here, at least with the setup that we have today. Here is the view from downtown to the south, and you can see the darker clouds and the clouds building here into the thunderstorm action that we have out there right now. In and around the metro area and points to the north, it's a little clearer, a little warmer on this Father's Day with temperatures in the 80s. It's really muggy out there as well. So throughout the remainder of the evening, we'll be on the lookout for some additional thunderstorm warnings that'll be possible here across southern locations. As we work our way closer to midnight, that watch will expire. Could be a spot shower or two overnight, but we will not have the threat of severe weather overnight tonight. That is the good news. We will maintain the chance of heavy rain in the forecast for tomorrow. More on that, Trevor, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks. In the meantime, Beech Grove also got hit hard. Take a look at this drone footage of some of the mess left behind. Mayor Dennis Buckley says there are 3 areas in particular that took the brunt of the storm. Beech Grove High School sustaining damage as well, along with an apartment complex. So far, 24 families have had to find other places to live for the time being. The mayor says despite all of the damage, people here are already willing to help.
It's just going to take a while to clean up. The community outpouring has been tremendous this morning. A lot of people out volunteering to pick up limbs and stuff like that. So we're pretty happy with the response from the public.
And while damage is the main concern in Beech Grove, it's flooding that's causing anxiety in Franklin. Several rivers and creeks have already crested their banks. The fear right now is that if we get any more rain, those problems are only going to get worse. Tonight, RTV6's Rafael Sanchez takes a look at what's happening there.
The wind damage is quite evident in places like Beech Grove. Now, the other big concern will be for those homes and properties and businesses along waterways because of all the excessive rain. All these ditches and creeks and rivers have really started to jump their banks. Here in Franklin, Province Park is part of the flood control effort. This park floods as commonly it does when there's excessive rain. So what you're seeing now is not uncommon when there's too much rain. The bigger concern will be over the next couple of hours and days, more rain could mean that the rivers and the ditches and the creeks will jump their banks, possibly threatening streets, homes, and businesses. We'll have to see what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours. In Franklin, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
And as those storms moved east, Wayne County also fell victim to high winds. The town of Richmond sustaining damage to homes and businesses all across that area. We now know 2 people suffered minor injuries from those storms. Viewer photos sent in give you a sense of what those folks had to go through. The cleanup there is already underway, and the National Weather Service is expected to arrive soon to begin surveying the area for damage. Well, just months after it was damaged, Danville's Mayberry car has been involved in another accident. Take a look. According to Danville police, someone drove off the road and hit the iconic car, which sits outside the historic Mayberry Cafe. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. Police don't believe drugs or alcohol played a role in that crash.
People are sad about it and hoping that we can get it fixed.
Now, police say the 20-year-old driver stayed on the scene and was cooperative. Repairs to other damaged structures are already underway. Well, coming up, the president kicks off his official re-election campaign in just 2 days as Democrats continue the drumbeat of impeachment.
And no longer a warned storm for thunderstorm warnings, but a lot of heavy rain and a lot of lightning and the potential for flash flooding here from Brown County through Bloomington back into portions of Greene County. We'll talk about this storm cell and all the ones heading our way for the remainder of the week coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. The highly anticipated ABC News special with President Donald Trump is set to air tonight on primetime. The president today went on Twitter saying he enjoyed his interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos. Rachel Scott filed this report with new excerpts from that interview, plus reaction from the Democrats.
The presidential motorcade left the White House. President Trump on his way to play golf, just days before he officially kicks off his re-election campaign at a rally in Orlando. At the same time, multiple sources familiar with the matter confirmed to ABC News that the Trump campaign is cutting ties with some of its pollsters after data was leaked and first reported by ABC that showed the president losing in key battleground states based on polling done in late March of this year. The president since insisting in a wide-ranging exclusive interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos that his poll numbers have him winning.
And I'm winning everywhere.
The president also offered new reasoning why, despite testimony from White House counsel Don McGahn that suggested otherwise. He had no intention of firing special counsel Robert Mueller.
I wasn't going to fire. You know why? Because I watched Richard Nixon go around firing everybody, and that didn't work out too well.
The president added he believes the Constitution would allow him to fire Mueller.
Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
Democrats are still divided on impeaching the president over the conclusions reached in the Mueller report.
I don't think there's anything more divisive we can do than to impeach a president of the United States. And so you have to handle it with great care.
I think every day that passes, the pressure to impeach grows, and I think that it's justifiable. I think the evidence continues to come in.
House committees are continuing to hold hearings on the Trump administration, and Democrats are gearing up for their first presidential debate, June 26th and 27th. 20 candidates qualified for the two-day event. Rachel Scott, ABC News, the White House.
And be sure to tune in tonight for the ABC News primetime special, George's 30 Hours with President Trump. That's happening at 8 o'clock right here on RTV6. Well, South Bend Mayor and presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg is talking about expanding his family. He tells CNN he'd like to start a family with his husband Chasten, and that could happen if they're in the White House. Buttigieg is celebrating his one-year wedding anniversary. He hopes to become the first openly gay presidential nominee from a major political party. He says it wouldn't be the first time a child has been born to a couple in the White House. And a Washington state case could change the way police work is done all across the country. A man is on trial for murder after police used genetic genealogy to link him to the murder of 2 people back in 1987. As Marcy Gonzalez reports, the case is believed to be one of the first genetic genealogy cases tried in the country and will likely set a precedent for cases to come.
A controversial method of DNA matching at the center of this trial.
This is a process that simply gave law enforcement a tip.
The suspect accused of tormenting and killing a young couple in Washington state in 1987, tracked down 3 decades later by investigators who used DNA found at the scene and matched it to the killer's likely relatives using a genealogy website. That led them to William Talbot. Police say his DNA was a match, and the 56-year-old killed was charged with first-degree murder.
Had law enforcement never had access to genetic genealogy, I don't believe this case could ever be solved.
The method, based on what's known as familial DNA, has been pivotal in other cases, including in California, where it was used to capture the suspected Golden State Killer. But this is believed to be the first genetic genealogy case in the country to go to trial, expected to set precedent for future investigations.
We support the use of the DNA databanks for law enforcement purposes.
But opponents call it an invasion of privacy, and Talbot's attorney told the jury there are doubts about its reliability.
It's a good tool for giving prosecutors an insight into who left particular biological evidence, whether that person was the perpetrator or not.
Talbot has pleaded not guilty and faces a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, Indiana is not alone. Other parts of the Midwest also got hit with a major round of severe weather. In Oklahoma, the storms left power lines sparking and this roof and garage in shambles. In Arkansas, then, Red Cross volunteers are handing out cleanup kits after record flooding.
Recovery is a long-term process, and so the Red Cross wants to connect with those folks and give them all the help they can.
And it'll be a wet start to the work week on the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia Peninsula and in southern New Jersey, where severe storms may bring damaging winds and large hail.
All right, it's going to be a rough go here in central Indiana this week as well, with multiple rounds of heavy thunderstorms likely heading our way. As far as right now, we have dropped all the severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. That is the good news. However, flash flood warnings are out there, and that could be our biggest concern here this evening. Heavy rainfall with some lightning just now to the north of Spencer, to the west of Martinsville. Extremely heavy rainfall through Bloomington, across the county line into Brown County and Nashville, with a lot of lightning as well. I'm going to pull the lightning off so you can get a little better look at this heavy rain that stretches from Interstate 69 through Bloomington, now along State Road 45 and 46 as you work your way into portions of Brown County. And these storms are just moving pretty slow, and they're moving across an area that's had a lot of rainfall over the course of the past 24 hours. And it's a thin band, but this is a flash flood warning that stretches from just north of Bloomfield through Bloomington and then just south of Nashville into southern Brown County. An additional flash flood warning right now in the Seymour area. The yellow you see, that is the severe thunderstorm watch. But look at some of these rainfall totals over the course of the past 24 hours here in southern locations. We're talking about almost 6 inches of rain. So if you're in this area, you see high water, obviously do not try to drive through it. You have to turn around. Do not try to go through that area of high water if it's across some of the roads. And there has been reports of some flooding across State Road 46 here this evening. To the north, there's not a whole lot going on, but with the sunshine, some additional storms have flared up here north of Muncie. Nothing severe, but we'll maintain the threat of storms in this forecast through the evening hours. That thunderstorm watch that I mentioned, that expires at 11 p.m. this evening, but look how active it is back off to our west. So the further south you are, that'll be the greater potential for seeing some of these strong to severe storms and also the flash flooding throughout the evening hours, but can't rule out the chance of a non-severe storm here from Indianapolis to the north. So if you do have evening Father's Day plans here, maybe still cooking out, certainly you have to be weather aware, but it's certainly not going to be a washout. Here's the view from downtown to the south, and you can see the darker clouds in this direction. If we would spin the camera and look to the north, you'd see a little bit of sunshine. It's warm and it's muggy, almost a tropical-like air mass out there. 81 in Indy. That's a rain-cooled 70, though, in Bloomington. Muncie, you're at 83. So this evening, if you have plans, again, temperatures will fall back down into the 70s. Some spotty storms, but more active the further south you go. And then for the day tomorrow, we're looking at scattered storms almost off and on throughout the entire day. A little better potential for those scattered storms as we head into Monday afternoon. And then Tuesday is going to be a day where there's a hit or miss storm. But this whole entire week, we're just going to get these waves of rain moving through, and they're going to be going along on this front. So when it does rain, it will have the potential to be very, very heavy across the area because there's a lot of moisture available with all this humidity that's around. But Wednesday's, I think, a day we have to keep an eye on for the potential of some widespread flooding here across the area because that's when the storms could potentially be the most numerous. So, Trevor, it is not the best 7-day planning forecast I have ever put together with a daily chance of storms. So I do think, though, the big thing is, yeah, there could be some severe weather here and there throughout the week, but by the end of the week, flooding could be a big concern here across central Indiana.
Rough weekend, rough week ahead. So we'll get through it, though. All right, Todd, thanks. Well, helping fathers in need of a hand land a job that can provide for their family. Coming up next in Hiring Hoosiers, the organization working to build up better families and communities through a career.
Models. Now with the People First warranty.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative was created to help you better your life. It's a mission similar to one local organization, and it's especially relevant today as we celebrate fathers. That organization has been helping dads succeed in the workforce and at home for more than 25 years. RTV6's Meredith Barrick visits the Fathers and Families Center.
I'm tired of the foolishness and living this type of life. I'm looking for a change, and then I already had a son at that particular time as well.
It was a challenging time for Randolph Weather Jr.
I was going through difficulty with jobs and employment in my life. Friendships, different relationships.
Then someone told him about the Fathers and Family Center.
We are a beacon of hope to a lot of young men who do not want a handout, but lift up.
The Fathers and Family Center helps dads not only become providers, but nurturers.
The community realized that fathers were not dead beat, but dead broke, and needed some assistance, particularly those who entered the role of fatherhood at an early age as a teenager. We have a number of men who are fathers, but who have gotten involved in the criminal justice system, dealing with mental health, dealing with drug and substance abuse. Well, those societal ills impact families, and so therefore our premise is that if you make strong fathers, you will have strong families. If you have strong families, you will have strong communities.
McLaughlin says they realize many unemployed men want to work.
People are unemployed because there are a lot of systemic and personal social barriers that may get in the way for them finding meaningful employment. But when they come here, we don't judge them. We examine where they are, but we also take an asset model that you're bringing something to the table. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come here.
Men who seek out the organization are in class for 3 weeks, taken on job tours, and learn soft skills needed to succeed.
We have a strong employment workforce development program to help men find meaningful and gainful employment, and also not only find it, help them to retain.
And once that happens, life at home improves too.
We have fathers from 16 to 72 who need help. And I think what is so meaningful to us is that we're making a difference, that a child now has better life options, that there's a hope for the future that they can look forward to. We always tell the men, your children ought to do better than you. And we're allowing them to be able to set a solid foundation so that their children can do. We're really trying to turn the hearts of the fathers towards their children.
That's exactly what Randolph did. Now a full-time guest services supervisor at the Hyatt downtown.
You've got to start somewhere, and I've always been told you all you got to do is get your foot in the door and just show who you are and be yourself and be true to who you are. And when you do good things happen.
In Indianapolis, I'm Meredith Barrick, RTV6.
And the center also offers a high school equivalency program and counseling services. We put a link to their website on hiringhoosiers.com. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us.
$1,500 for $199 a month.
Well, take a look at that picture. Britain's Prince Harry is celebrating his first Father's Day. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex shared this heartwarming photo of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor on Instagram. You can see little Archie already has his dad wrapped around his finger. The royal family welcomed their first child back on May 6th. Well, next week, the Colts will announce the training camp schedule, including when practices will be open to the fans. This will be the second year camp is held at Grand Park Sports in Westfield. The team says this is going to be the most fan-focused camp ever, with special themed days, health and fitness activities, and a whole lot more. That announcement is set to happen on Wednesday. And Indy Parks is now serving free meals as part of its summer servings program. The goal there is to serve 200,000 free meals this summer. Now, those meals will be available to anyone 18 and younger in Marion County, either through mobile meal units or meals dropped off at certain locations. As for the quality of the meals, we're getting some early reviews.
I think the lunch is pretty good. I've had it at the YMCA before and other places. If I were to rate it 1 to 10, it'd be 10.
I like the ham part of the sandwich, and I like oranges. And the part I do not like is the cheese and the cucumbers. And my favorite thing about the lunch is it's free!
And that program is Monday through Friday through the summer. Hours of operations vary by location. Check the Indy Parks website for more information.
All right, some heavy rain to the south moving through Brown County. Some flash flooding occurring there as well. Be aware of that if you are in Bloomington to Nashville to the north. A few isolated storms flaring up. Nothing, though, as of right now, though, is severe across the area. I'll keep you posted throughout the evening.
All right, we know you'll keep an eye on it, Todd. Thanks, and thank you for watching. We'll have more on the weather coming up later on tonight at 11. We'll see you then.